Tell me about your project.
So I did music when I was in my 20s, and that was like a teenage dream of mine to always do a music video. And I woke up one day earlier this year and realized that I never made a music video the whole time I did music. So I was like, fuck that, I want to do it. So I, wrote a song and put a video together. And my friend, Clayton George, who done it, whatever the fuck his, whatever one of his three names are, he was nice enough to put it together for us. He's really good. You should look him up. I'll give you his Instagram. But yeah, that's pretty much how the video came about. I picked the singers because I've been friends with them for years downtown, and they're really talented. So those are the people that I wanted on the track for sure.
Do you feel like you want to continue working on projects with them as a group, or is this kind of something that you just had them featured on, or how?
I'll work with them as long as they want to work with me. As far as us being a group goes, like I kind of want to see if this video is anything first, and if people like it, then I'll think about doing something else. But I mean, it could be featuring different people. I know me and my best friend, Shin Juggernaut. He's working on some stuff too. So we've talked about doing a video together as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, what inspiration or how did you end up using the bar that you used and kind of the story that you went with?
Both the bar and the story comes from me drinking a lot.
Okay.
The song is about me when I was in my 20s and how much alcohol was just how much I drank every fucking day. No, I'm not saying I just drink a little bit now. I certainly drink a lot now, but and nothing compared to what I used to before, the medical problems, become of it. That's for sure. Yeah. And then the bar, the owner over there, Bauhaus Tap, they were nice enough to let me use the bar because, I go in there a fair amount, and I know the owner and the bartenders are all swell people.
Yeah. Did you guys get to like clear out the bar that day?
No, they don't open till 4. As long as we were, out of there by I think 3, then we were good to go. We crammed it all in only a couple hours too. We didn't need it for that long.
So you just filmed there for just a couple hours?
A couple hours, then we went downtown to the comic book store.
Nice.
They're all great guys over there too. But I didn't call them ahead of time, and when I went in there, I was really high because you had smoked a blunt beforehand, and I was just like, "Hey, can we use your store for a couple minutes?" They were nice enough about it, but it was, those girls can smoke, man. Wait, that's wild.
That's awesome. You got any fun stories from that day?
From that day,
or just from the group in general?
Well, I mean, me and Lou, I call her Lizzie, so that's why I stutter sometimes. Me and Lizzie, we worked together at Slippery Noodle, so anytime her and I were on it's a big fucking place if you've never been there, and there's the backstage area, and there's the upstairs bar. Sometimes it would just be her and I in the upstairs bar, and we always had a fucking blast. We'd always, probably drink way too much, and we just laugh all the time. She's awesome. Sarah's awesome too. That's Lou's best friend. She's the one that plays my girlfriend in the video. Lou was supposed to ask her to do it, and she didn't. So I asked her like 2 days, or I think Lou asked her like 2 days before or something. So she was supposed to ask her months in advance, but she was nice enough to say yes. And so that was kind of cool.
Oh, and she's pretty, so that's a nice little plus. Cute girlfriend for the video.
Yeah, I mean, I straight up Kevin James did, in the sense that I cast a chick that nobody would ever fucking believe would actually date me. But Kevin James does that all the time, so I feel like that's probably fair. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome though. So what, as far as writing the song, what does it mean to you? I know you were saying like it's about drinking and stuff, but like obviously there's more to it than just that.
Yeah, it's about for the people like me that can't. There's people that go to the programs and never drink or smoke again. Fucking good for you. But that's not me. But I think the song for me, it says like, you don't have to completely stop, but just be able to give your body a break. Like in my 20s, I couldn't go a fucking day without drinking. Now I can go a month, no problem. I'm not saying I like to, but I can. If I need to go a month, I can go a month without. But it's always going to be that thing for me. It's going to be a crutch. And I'm not, I'm way past trying to, even telling myself, oh, I'll definitely quit one day. I know I'm not going to, and I'm fine with that. Unless, of course, the doctor says, hey, if you fucking keep doing this, you're going to die. In which case, then yes, I would have to.
Well, at face value,
this conversation got really dark.
No. So at face value, I see that the video could be taken as a love song, and you did that purposely, I'm sure, to play into the drinking, like the love song to drinking in a way?
I was writing it to alcohol. I was writing a love song to alcohol, but I threw the girl, I had the girl in the video. That way, I let the audience decide if she ever existed at all. And that's just me kind of being downtown, or at the bar drinking. Or if she was my girlfriend, I was just fed up with my shit and then left, and all I had left was the alcohol. So, I mean, I figured I'll let however the audience would interpret that, but those are the two ways that I wanted to.
That's fun because that's the two ways that I wondered, but I didn't. I was like,
yeah.
I kind of wonder what his angle was there. But I really did like that you did the scene where you cut away and then she wasn't there anymore, and it was kind of very symbolic in the way of like, was she there? Exactly. And then with the words to the song, obviously that plays into that too. So, what's next for you though?
Next, if I'm gonna do another video, I'm probably gonna want it to be a ballad of some sort. I've always been a sucker for slow jams.
Nice.
So maybe do something like that. But like I mentioned, Shin Juggernaut earlier, he's got some shit he's working on, and I would definitely it's always been we worked together plenty of times in the past. We've known each other since we were kids, but I've always wanted to do a video with him. So if I can do a music video with him, that would be kind of another check mark I can take from my list,
So how do we find your music? What do you put it under, or how do you?
So like I was in a band called Gambit's Disciples. I'm sure there's some CDs floating around, but I haven't even heard those songs in a long time. But A Simplistic Vision, which was the group that I did, it's the hip hop rock style. It's the same as the video you would have seen. That is on Reverb Nation under A Simplistic Vision. And then the video that I recently did is under my YouTube channel, Steveo Suits.
And so it's essentially solo artists featuring your friends that are...
Yeah, that also do music. That's the thing, like when I asked Lou and Sara to do it, like Sarah still, she performs all around the city all the time, and Lou does, but I don't think as much. But like that performer in you, it never really goes away. You always, it's always like something where you're like, oh, that's still something I can do. And then, obviously having Lou and Sara who are super talented, and they actually have names and shit, like in the music world downtown. And they're, like, if I could ever perform this song live, not if I could, I know I have the ability to, but if we ever get around to performing this song live with Sarah's band, that would be something that'd be kind of cool too, for sure.
And what's her band called?
So it's one of those things where she plays in different ones. So she's a blues singer, right? So she'll play in different ones. But she, like tonight, she's with Sara Phoebe and Benito, and Benito's the guitarist. Like again, they're like a blues duo. But they're check out Slippery Noodle. They're there a lot. Slippery Noodles, it's a good place to get to go see live music. Thursday's half price drink. So if you want to get fucked up for half the price, that's probably the way to go there.
So, what inspired you as far as music when you were, getting started? Because you've done music since you were a kid. How did you get into music?
It was just that thing that, sometimes everybody listens to music growing up. In the 90s, we had the radio, which was a thing. But sometimes different songs hit you different, and you just know, like, for some reason, that I could probably do this. And it wasn't until I started listening to Linkin Park, however old I was when they came out, when I heard the way that they did it, I was like, oh fuck, I can do something. And nothing as good as this, but I can do something like that, like something, in the same kind of genre, the same like web. Like I was like, I can figure this kind of stuff out. I'm not a strong singer, but I could do the other stuff.
Sometimes I think hearing people that sound the way that you would like to sound, or kind of that way, like it can be more inspiring than like growing up with your parents' music and not necessarily even paying it as much mind in some cases, where some of us obsessed over it and learned all of the little details of the stuff. But
sure, no, I understand. That makes sense.
But that's
my dad's big, Guns N' Roses fan, and so was I. But I mean, no one can sound like Axl Rose. He's just one of those, one of those few people. You're like, I know that sound when I hear it,
Yeah. I mean, and you can imagine like the years of like strain that people put on their voice and still are performing, like people like Cyndi Lauper.
Sure.
And what's inspiring about her the most, I think, is that she was already past 30 when she did Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and actually got like big, and people, found out who she was, because she was in that band before that.
Mm-hmm.
And they had like, a respectable amount of fame, but
sure.
But being over 30 before she like really got huge, that like stuck out to me because I feel like there was like this part of your late 20s where you kind of, and maybe that's what you were kind of going through for a while when you didn't make as much music or you never made your music video.
Yeah.
You know, like you kind of go through that late 20s thing where it's like, oh, well, I'm too old to do that now and I have to just live like this normal life. But I don't think that's necessarily for everyone.
Yeah, I'm sure some of those thoughts hit a little bit as far as being too old goes, but I mean, fuck it, I'm 36 now. I figured, you know, I can nobody can tell me not to do it, you know.
I would
I
say
can
you're one
just
of the
do it.
youngest people that I interview. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I
That's
definitely
what's
don't
up.
give up.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I got a lot of quit in me. If I don't want to do something, I just don't do it.
But if you want to do
But
it,
if I
then
want to,
an equal
good fucking
amount
luck
of
stopping me. Yeah, but
tenacity is always
yeah,
good.
when my brother Mikey always says, when my brain's set on something and it's truly set on something, like I won't fucking stop until that thing's done. But yeah, I mean, is a 10 album, like 10 album, like sorry, 10 song album, something along those lines. Is that still in my future? Why the fuck not? I'm sure I can if I, and I probably wouldn't even take a super long time either if I got the right people around me, the people that I know are smarter than me when it comes to recording, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Do you think you'll always want to have like guest singers, or do you think there might be some things that you'll want to do on your own?
Let's say that I did 10 songs for an album. I would probably say 7 of those would have people on them,
That's very similar to like The Weeknd. I feel like I love the way that he features other artists.
Sure,
And like a lot of people didn't know who Lana Del Rey was, and then all of a sudden everybody kind of like was listening to that and kind of knew. So maybe the opposite can also be true. If you have girls that are well known in the scene, your name can be the one that gets learned by people.
Well,
so
I mean,
that's kind of cool too.
any even little bit of kind of a recognition or somebody else learning me from somebody else, I'll happily accept that. But then you also have cases where Paul McCartney was on, this many years ago, he was on a Kanye West album, and there are people who had no fucking idea who Paul McCartney or the Beatles was, and was like, he should consider himself lucky that Kanye's putting him on. I'm like, no, it's not the way that
I remember that
works.
It's crazy. I think that also happened with Post Malone and Ozzy Osbourne. I want to say,
I can see some shit like that going on.
So interesting.
Guy that kind of almost invented fucking metal. You're like, yeah, who was he before?
Yeah, right. That's crazy, but mind blowing, obviously, for people that do know and know the mesh up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want people to know that we haven't talked about, or like, what do you?
Just in general, just back to the drinking thing, and I'm only talking about drinking because that's what I do. Anything like heavier than that, as far as like the heavy drugs go, you're on your fucking own. I have no idea. But as far as the drinking goes, like there's a way to cut back and not having to stop fully. It's just don't drink at stupid fucking times, and and by stupid times I mean before or during work, especially if you don't work at a bar. Like people are gonna know that you're doing it, and you're not like you read about I read about teachers getting busted for being drunk all the time. Like you're teaching, don't get drunk while you're there.
Right?
That's just fucking insane,
Get controlled drunk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not gonna air any of this shit. They're gonna hear about us talking about.
No,